I can't believe he was like, there's no way that the abolitionist movement, the civil rights movement, and BLM can be part of the same ideological tradition, because you can't prove that abolitionist-era Southern Republicans who are pro-Western expansion set up schools that informed modern teachers. Like, what? What? Do you want to finalize how he's racist? I mean, we didn't really get to it, but we're not going to, like, really have a convo with somebody like that anyway, and, like, get to anything. The basic gist of it is that people like him will justify American economic supremacy by arguing that poorer countries are less productive, and they'll define productivity as how much wealth they produce, which is obviously cyclical. You know what I mean? Like, a widget produced in the US will cost more because it's in the US than something produced from a sweatshop in China. So it's like this value. Yeah, you beg the question, essentially. So the way you fight against that is by, like, indicating when you mean productivity, you don't actually mean like a reflection of how hard people work or what they actually produce. What you mean is like how much they're paid for what they produce, which in effect means these people deserve to be poor because they're paid less for the things that they make, which is circular, you know? I don't think the argument for equal labor productivity across country works. You can look at concrete goods per labor hour, for example. Soaked on Left, I've looked at that data before. Soaked on Left, I love you, but you have this thing where you'll come in after I talk with a retard and you'll be like, I can't help but notice that during this conversation with like a bonobo ape, you didn't fully elaborate. You can take a look at like the amount of shit produced by like a sweatshop worker, you know, relative to like an American factory, and the idea that like wages line up with how much they produce is just not true. Now, you can say they line up if you frame it through how much they're paid for what they produce. What's the value of what they produce? But at that point, again, it's circular reasoning. You're not looking at productivity in like a meaningful sense. And then, by the way, you can tell that he wasn't prepared to answer that because he then went on to say stuff that was just wrong. Remember when he said that you could predict the wage of a Starbucks barista by how many coffees they make per hour? Really? I wasn't aware they were paid on commission. That's new information to me, you know? The only thing that meaningfully determines the wages of a Starbucks barista are seniority and the minimum wage of the state that you're in. Funnily enough, neither of these things have anything to do with productivity. Nothing whatsoever. You know what I mean? So anyway, the racist thing here is that, like, I don't think it makes you racist to make those arguments, but I do think that people arrive at racist conclusions by framing productivity in that way when looking at, like, the wealth produced by all these different countries, you know? I'm a poli-sci student. He literally didn't understand what I wanted. Well, I think it was pretty telling when, like, I laid out my argument for like 2 minutes about the ideological, like, you can't get much closer than abolitionism, civil rights, BLM. Like, abolitionists fighting for the racial equality of black people and to amend legal discrimination, the big thinkers of which were cited in the civil rights movement, and then the same over to BLM. And then I went through all that, and his response after a pause was basically like, how many books on this have you read? Which, the moment you hear that, you know they're flailing, right? You know? It's been a while since I've had a convo like that. Fuck, I wanted to have, like, a more productive conversation with him, but, like, what, like, you know, what am I supposed to do? You did very well given the circumstances. Well, if nothing else, I feel like, that was pretty anticlimactic after all the hype. That's what you get for having hype, okay? I feel like, if nothing else, that kind of reaffirms the argument that I made at the beginning, which is that he narrativizes like crazy. Like, he has all these disparate pieces of information, like, together in his head, and, like, he wants to see the outcome that he wants to see. So if he wants to believe that modern social justice has nothing to do with the civil rights movement, like, he will do anything to drive a wedge between those two points in history. I thought you're being way too aggressive out the gate with the narrativism thing. No, I don't think so. I think I was just being clear with the criticism that I had, you know? I don't think that I was rude. It was mostly just crazy to me how much that guy Gish Gallop's like a motherfucker, man. Holy shit. All his points are easy enough to address the right academic rigor. The problem is Vaush doesn't have enough reading in the necessary academic topics, especially economics and history. No, I disagree. I actually think that I knew everything that I needed there. I don't think he actually caught me missing any point on any of that. I don't think he knows anything about economics or history. I think he just has tidbits of information that he's acquired because they fit into, like, they help him justify the political positions that he has. But I don't think, like, in terms of historical analysis, guys, when he said there's no way the abolitionist movement could have influenced modern day social justice, unless you can prove that the Republicans of that era founded schools with academic departments dedicated to that ideology, which then like, as soon as he said that, like, you know, and then he said there's no way they can, like, be the same because they're different demographics. I don't even know what that means. Like, these ideas can't be connected in the national, like, ideology because, like, some of them are from Maine and some of them are from Virginia. I don't even know. I feel like you interrupted too much. If I'd known we had that little time, I would have interrupted more. I would have interrupted way more. What's postmodernism? You referenced it a lot. Postmodernism is when you're based and red-pilled. He didn't even clarify the demographics question twice. He didn't answer any of my fucking questions. He didn't... Yeah. He said the French Revolution led to total suffrage like it was a bad thing, either a misspeak or a bit of a tell. I don't know. I don't think he's anti-suffrage. I just think he's anti-SJW, and he's like the biggest pseudo-intellectual about it. Vaush, China has absolute dogshit productivity, but economics can tackle its points understanding, broken measure. Lowland Dare, no it doesn't. In terms of the work done by a single person in those factories... No. Wait, hasn't this person been, like, bitching the entire time? Hold on. If you define productivity as, like, the economic value of the output, but that's circular again. Holy shit, you've been complaining the entire time. And you were telling me to watch Arcane? Ooh. Ooh, I don't know, guys. That's a perma. That's a perma. There's no other way around it. Nah, okay, 30 days. I love you. Wait, how do you ban someone again? It's been so long since I've done this. /ban Lowland there 30 days come. There we go. I did it. Mercy. I don't know where you're getting this from, but the entire productivity thing is not correct here. Okay, I'm happy. Read the Eurovision comment at top. Well, they're also European, you know. The comment on his VOD or coping about how you're a well-trained snake. Dude, this happens literally every time. Like, every time I have a debate with somebody, like, they show up and they just they like smash their head with a brick, and then I get blamed for it. Okay, I'm happy to see more info on this or whatever. But like the productivity thing, yeah. What do we mean by productivity? Do we mean literally like how hard a person works? If pay based on productivity were true, people would be getting paid more relatively now than they did in the past because we are massively more productive. But we know this is not true even just by looking at minimum wage trends. Yeah, that's completely true. Yeah, if productivity is what determines wages, then why is it that like the wages vary so much based on the minimum wages of a state that you're in America, even if you're doing the same job for the same company across different states? Or even within certain cities within different states, if they have different minimum wages there. Like, yeah, it's just completely not true, you know, unless you want to twist the definition. Vaush, Mexico is number 1, US is number 10. Yeah, in terms of hardest work, yeah. So if you want to define productivity as being how many hours you work, America's not number 1. Mexico, Costa Rica, South Korea, Russia, Greece, Chile, Israel, Poland, Czech Republic, and then the United States. Data for China isn't included here. I wonder where that would be on the thing, you know. In terms of like hours worked, like there you go, right? Turkey apparently has very low. Okay. According to Vaush, abolitionism led to the social justice movement. Marxism didn't lead to the Soviet Union. When did I say that? I never said Marxism didn't lead. Actually, I don't think Marxism even led to the Soviet Union. I think Marxism was just the pretext for the Soviet Union, you know? All I said is that the Soviet Union's like actual effective, like the political reality just was not a product of Marxian theory, which is obviously true. If you take a look at that, you know? Yeah, that's what I said. Likewise, yeah, I said, oh God. Do you think it's surprising that he's an alt history channel and that he agenda pushes so hard? No, all history channels tend to, at least they're very vulnerable to this kind of like narrativization, but it didn't necessarily lead to the totalitarianism. I just think that, like, keep in mind, like, even Nazis, even Adolf Hitler, like, used populist pro-worker appeals to establish their authoritarian dictatorship, you know? It just seems to be a pretty popular trend. The alt history community apparently hates this guy. Oh yeah, no, this guy, yeah. The bad history Reddit also beats him over the head pretty often, which is pretty funny. But anyway, yeah. Oh, Taftaj is here. Vaush, productivity is not hours worked. Taftaj, different people use different definitions of productivity. The problem is if you are, productivity doesn't, oh God, he doesn't understand. Wait, Taftaj, I literally opened this by saying if you define productivity by hours worked. There's no consistent definition for productivity in terms of like actual output unless you're framing it through some kind of economic model, like the value of output. But if you're doing that, then you're kind of presupposing, like you're begging the question, because you're encoding like wealth differences per country into the results that you're going to get. It's going to be circular. It's not the econ definition, though? Yeah, well, we've rolled through several different definitions of productivity. The only argument that I'm making is that you can't take a look at the productivity of different countries and use that as an argument for, like, why people in those countries deserve lower wages. That was the issue that I had initially. Because libertarians will moralize the fuck. They will moralize the absolute fuck out of a criteria like that in a way that is just ahistorical. As you can see demonstrated by the behavior of What If Alt History, I really hate pseudo-intellectuals during a debate. Because it's always the same playbook time and time again. They'll say some patently ridiculous, self-contradictory bullshit, and then when they, they get real mad when you call them out in it, and they're just, how many books have you read? Yeah, it's just, What If Alt-Hist believes the Black Book of Communism is factual, downplays the death toll of fascism, and that the Ottomans could have survived without World War I. Yeah, he's probably like fashion consequence, even if he's not aware of it. I don't think he's like a dumb guy or whatever. I just think that What If Alt History has the biggest case of, what's it called? When you're overconfident, but the like fancy pants term? Dunning-Kruger? Dunning-Kruger, yeah. I think he's the picture book for that. Dunning-Kruger is fake apparently, though. You know what is real? Autism. SDL looking at you. The effect of people of ordinary intelligence who overestimate their ability based on a small amount of information is a real thing. We have info here. Nah, STL earns it. He drops in here, he never socializes with me. He comes in here exclusively to tell me when I'm wrong. That's the only thing I could be as mean as I wanted to him, and it would not be wrong morally. I do respect it though. I do respect it. Yeah, no, it's a good bit. I'm not gonna. Yeah. As an academic, no person confident in their ability to defend their positions does a million constant citation name drops like that. Yeah, it's like gigacope. Yeah, it's a pretty common thing. We do need a Gish galloping emote. Maybe for Gish galloping, you should just use the Vaush emote. Because, like, it's literally galloping. Like, that's kind of a fun double use for an emo, right? I think that's fair. Well, yeah, like, we ride. Yeah, no, I think that's good. There we go, STL. Now you're getting it. I make fun of STL, but, like, as a person who actually is autistic, as opposed to simply a person who's 99.99% guaranteed to be autistic, the whole you have to engage in social niceties before offering your thoughts on somebody is not something that I like got from the get-go. You know what I mean? Like, it took me a while to realize that most people like take offense at just like saying something at them, Not to say that I do with STL, because I know STL. I like STL, but as a general, Also, you just don't read the studies post. No, I read the shit STL posts. He has a talent for synthesizing information which surpasses mine. He is better at that than me. I know my limits. I tell you guys, okay? Half of being intelligent is just knowing when to defer to other people, okay? This is the case in every field, everything, all thinking. You'll be that much better if you just know when to defer to other people. There's no shame in doing that. Nobody can know everything. Again, I really did not go into the conversation with What If Alt Hist with any intention of being like rude. And I don't think I came across as rude either, Well, I don't think I did. I try not to. It's just he established very early on he would gish gallop, but he wouldn't even stop talking. Like if I tried to like get in, And it's true that I am trying to interrupt him when I try to get in and he just keeps talking. But I think it's okay to attempt to interrupt somebody if they're going off on some unrelated tangent. I think that's okay, Whenever, like, even when I talk for a long time, if I like talk for an extended length of time, I focus it on the subject that we're on. But every time he would go off, it'd be like some totally other thing, and he would load every sentence with so many preconceptions,